My stepmother raised me like her own, until I found out I was just a backup plan to fund her real son's life. I didn't let them take the final step. Your father would be so proud of you. Linda's voice was warm as she tucked a strand of my hair behind my ear, her eyes full of affection. I felt my chest swell with pride. I loved this feeling. I loved making her happy. Because she wasn't just my stepmother, she was my real mother. She had been since she married my father when I was 12. She took care of me, she protected me, she taught me how to be a good person. And I wanted nothing more than to make her proud. For years I believed I had the perfect family. I didn't know that I was just a puppet in her hands. My real mother died when I was 10. I don't remember much about her, just the soft scent of lavender and the way she used to hum while cooking dinner. For 2 years it was just me and my dad. He did his best, but I could tell he was lonely. So when he met Linda, I was relieved. Finally, someone would take care of him. But I never expected her to take care of me too. Linda wasn't just kind, she was attentive. She remembered little things, like how I liked my sandwiches cut into triangles and how I was scared of thunderstorms. She never raised her voice. She never scolded me unfairly, and she always made me feel special. "I know I'm not your real mother," she told me one night as she tucked me into bed. "But I want you to know that I love you just the same." I believed her. I had no reason to doubt her. Linda had a son from her previous marriage, Jack. He was my age, but we couldn't have been more different. Where I was always careful to be polite and considerate, Jack was loud, demanding, and effortlessly got his way. But strangely, Linda never openly favored him. She always treated us exactly the same. If she bought Jack a new jacket, she bought me one too. If she praised me for getting good grades, she praised Jack just as much for trying his best. If we fought over something, she never took sides. She just sighed and said, "I love you both equally, why can't you just get along?" She was never unfair, everything was too perfect. Because true fairness doesn't feel like control. And Linda, she was always in control. Linda never forced me to do anything. She never told me to give up what was mine. She never made me feel like I was being treated unfairly. Instead, she made me want to do things for Jack. If I got a new toy, she wouldn't tell me to share. She would simply sigh and say, "Jack's been feeling a little left out lately, but I know you understand, sweetheart." If I got to go somewhere fun, she wouldn't ask me to bring Jack. She would just murmur, "It would mean the world to him if he could come with you. But of course, it's your decision." If I accomplished something, she wouldn't compare me to him. She would just say, "You're so responsible. I just wish Jack had someone like you to look up to." It wasn't a demand. It wasn't even a request. It was a seed planted carefully in my mind, making me believe that I was simply doing the right thing. And I wanted to be good. I wanted to be a daughter she could be proud of. So I did everything, not because she told me to, but because I thought it was my own choice. Jack and I weren't treated the same. I just didn't see it. Because Linda never took things away from me directly. She never told me I was less important than Jack. She just made me feel like he needed things more than I did. If Jack wanted something, it became a necessity. If I wanted something, it became a luxury. If Jack messed up, it was a learning experience. If I messed up, it was disappointing. But she never said those words outright. She never needed to. Because by the time I was old enough to realize the pattern, it had already been ingrained in me. I was the responsible one. I was the strong one. I was the one who had to give. And I never questioned it. Because I thought that's what love was. Then, my father died. A sudden heart attack. He was there one moment and gone the next. I don't have words for what that felt like. It was like the world had collapsed. My dad was the only person in my life who truly loved me unconditionally. The only one who ever put me first. And now he was gone. Linda was devastated, or at least I thought so. She held me when I cried, whispered that we would get through this together. For the first time, I felt like I had to protect her. I had to become the pillar of the family. I didn't realize that was exactly what she wanted. I always thought I had the perfect mother. I didn't realize I was just a pawn in her game. I don't know how we'll manage without him, but I'll find a way. Linda's voice trembled, but she forced a small, brave smile. It had been a month since my father passed. His absence still felt unreal. like he'd walk through the front door at any moment, whistling an old tune and asking what was for dinner. But he never did. And Linda? She was grieving, but she was strong. She never let herself fall apart. She still cooked dinner, still kept the house running, still made sure Jack and I were okay. Or at least that's how it looked, because in small, quiet ways, I started to notice the cracks. Linda never asked me for money. Not once. But one evening as we sat at the dinner table, she let out a quiet sigh, pushing her food around her plate. I got the electricity bill today. It's strange, I never realized how expensive it was before. Her tone was light, almost like she was just making an observation. But there was something about the way she said it, so casual, so matter-of-fact, that made my stomach twist. My father used to handle the bills. I never thought about them before. "How much is it?" I asked. She shook her head. "Oh, don't worry about it, sweetheart. I'll take care of it." And that was it. She didn't mention it again. But that night, I found myself lying awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about it. I had a stable job, a good salary. Linda had spent years taking care of me. Wasn't it my turn to take care of her? So the next morning I left a check on the kitchen counter. When Linda found it, she gasped, covering her mouth. "Oh, sweetheart, you didn't have to do this. I wanted to. And I meant it." She looked at me for a long moment, then pulled me into a tight hug. Her voice was thick with emotion. "Your father would be so proud of you." And just like that, it no longer felt like I had just paid a bill. It felt like I had honored my father's memory. It started with small things. A bill here, groceries there. Then one day, Linda mentioned a leaky pipe in the kitchen. A week later, she casually talked about property taxes being higher than she expected. Each time, I offered to help. And each time, she hesitated. "Are you sure, sweetheart? You've already done so much." And every single time, I insisted, because she never made me feel like I had to do it. She made me feel like I wanted to. Jack never worried about money. He still went out with his friends, still bought new clothes, still acted like nothing had changed. And Linda never expected him to step up. "He's still young," she said once when I asked if he was contributing. "He doesn't understand responsibility like you do." Or my least favorite, "I wish he were more like you." It wasn't a complaint, it was praise. I was the responsible one, I was the strong one, I was the one keeping our family together. And I was proud of that. Jack didn't need to step up. Because I already had. Balancing work and home expenses became second nature. I barely even noticed how much I was covering until Linda mentioned it in passing. "You've done so much for us," she said one afternoon, smiling softly. "I don't know what we would do without you." The words made my chest tighten, not from pressure, but from pride. I was making a difference. I was keeping our family together. I didn't realize I was slowly becoming the only one holding everything up. One evening, Linda frowned at the mail in her hands. "Jack's car broke down today. The repair bill is ridiculous, but he really needs it to get to his classes." I set my fork down. "How bad is it?" She hesitated. $1,200. The number hit me harder than I expected. That was a lot. "I don't know, Mom. That's a little steep." I didn't get to finish. Linda didn't argue, didn't push. She simply lowered her gaze and let out a small, tired sigh. "Of course, sweetheart. You've already done so much for us. I shouldn't have even mentioned it." Something inside me twisted. It wasn't guilt, exactly. But looking at her, shoulders slumped, voice weary, I felt something worse. The idea that I was letting her down. She had lost her husband. She had already lost so much. And now she had to worry about money too? I reached for my checkbook. Linda's eyes widened. "Sweetheart, no, really, I can't let you. I want to." She exhaled, looking relieved, and that relief made everything worth it. When did it stop being my choice? At first I offered, then I insisted. After a while, it wasn't even a question. Linda stopped pretending to refuse. She stopped saying, "Are you sure?" She stopped saying, "I feel awful asking you for this." Because she didn't need to anymore. By then, she had already made her needs my responsibility, and I had accepted that responsibility without question. Cliffhanger. I thought I was just helping my mother. I didn't realize I had become the only one keeping this family afloat. How love turned into leverage. I didn't say yes to everything immediately anymore, but I still said yes. That's how Linda adjusted. She knew how to read me, knew that if she pushed too hard I'd resist. So instead she leaned back, softened her tone, and waited. She knew the right words to say, the right pauses to take, the exact amount of sadness to show in her eyes. So when she started talking about just a small loan, I didn't realize it was a carefully rehearsed first act. "I've been looking into some short-term financing," Linda said one evening as she stirred tea at the stove. The words were so casual that I almost missed them. "Just to help with some breathing room, you know? It's not sustainable for you to cover everything long-term. I've been thinking, it's not fair to put this all on your shoulders." I blinked. Was this a shift? An actual plan that didn't rely on me? "That sounds good," I said, cautiously optimistic. "What kind of financing?" She smiled over her shoulder. "Just something small, like a personal loan, maybe secured, just for lower interest. Nothing dramatic. We could even use the house, but only as backup. It's really nothing risky." There it was. So soft, so reasonable, like a breeze pushing a door open, not someone kicking it down. "We'd never actually lose the house," she added quickly. "It's just a way to show the bank we're serious. It gives us options." I nodded slowly, heart thudding. I didn't like it, but I didn't say no, because she made it sound so responsible, and I was the responsible one. Weeks passed. Linda didn't bring it up again. Not directly, but she started referring to the house as our safety net. "If anything ever happened, at least we have the house. Your father left us this one thing, we need to protect it." Sometimes she'd smile and say, "We're lucky, you know? Not everyone has something like this. Some families fall apart when the breadwinner's gone." I should have noticed the contradiction. She said we needed to protect it, but she also said it could be used as collateral. But she also said it wasn't risky. But she also made it sound like a gift we weren't allowed to waste. I didn't question it, because I still believed she had my best interests at heart. Then Jack re-entered the picture. Not that he ever really left, he was always around, always needing something. But this time, he came with what he called a vision. "There's this guy I know, he's done drop shipping, marketing, all of it. He's willing to mentor me. I just need startup money to build inventory and set up the LLC." It was rehearsed, not passionate, just practiced. Linda beamed at him. "He's trying, sweetheart," she told me later in private. "He's finally serious about his future. He's never asked for much. This could really set him on the right path." I bit back a dozen memories of her saying, "Jack just needs a little guidance," over and over. "He said he'd pay you back in installments. We could make it official, put it in writing." As if that changed anything. As if my savings weren't already half emptied. But she kept her voice light, careful, almost apologetic, as if she was the one making a sacrifice. As if she'd rather suffer than ask me. So when I said I'd think about it, she hugged me. "Thank you for not shutting it down right away. That means more than you know." I found the bank paperwork on the kitchen counter 3 days later, not signed, not even presented to me directly, just placed there, like a nudge, like bait, collateral, family home, cosigner, OP, my name, already filled in. I stood there holding the form, stomach sinking. Was this planned? I didn't confront her immediately, I needed time. But that night, as we cleared the table, she said gently, "Jack's been researching how to set up an online storefront all day. I haven't seen him this focused in years." And when I didn't respond, "You looked at the papers, right?" I nodded. "Any thoughts?" I told her the truth. "It scares me." Linda didn't push, she just gave me a look that I will never forget. Equal parts disappointment, hurt, and deep, aching love. "Of course, I understand," she whispered. "It's your father's house. You're trying to protect it." She stood, gathered her things. "He'd be proud of you for being careful, he really would." And then she left me there, alone in the kitchen, holding the fear, the guilt, and the sense that I was somehow doing something wrong again. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed asking myself one terrifying question. Was this really her idea of protecting me? Or had she been leading me to this moment from the start? Paying a bill? Just a little help? Groceries? Just until she gets back on her feet. Jack's tuition? He needs a chance. Business money? An investment. The house? Just paperwork. I remembered something she said months ago. "You always do the right thing, sweetheart." And suddenly I heard it in a new way. Not as praise, but as programming. This whole time I thought I was making decisions, but maybe I was only ever being led. How close I came to giving them everything. I didn't mean to come home early that day. I wasn't even supposed to be in the house. But the meeting was canceled and I thought, maybe I'd surprise them with dinner. A gesture. Something small to make things feel normal again. The front door was unlocked, the house was quiet. I set my keys down and turned toward the kitchen, then stopped. Voices, low, hushed, familiar. Linda, Jack. They didn't know I was there. She's on the edge, I can feel it, Linda said. Her voice was calm, practiced. The same voice she used when telling me I didn't have to help, but she'd understand if I chose to. She's asking more questions now, Jack replied. What if she backs out? She won't. Not if we do this right. Silence. Then the sound of paper rustling. You're sure this looks like a standard loan agreement? Yes, nothing suspicious. It references the house, but not in a way she'll pick up on. She trusts me. She'll skim, not read. And once she signs, what, we transfer it immediately? Quietly, just file it through the attorney. She won't know until it's done. And even then, what's she gonna do? Hire a lawyer to sue her own family? Laughter, soft, cruel. Honestly, she's so used to carrying everything, I don't think she even knows where her boundaries are anymore. And the house? Ours. Clean. No debt. We can refinance or sell. Either way, we're out of her shadow for good. I had to grab the wall to stay upright. Everything I'd suspected, every tight knot in my chest that I'd pushed down, every moment I hesitated but still gave in, it was all real. Not in my head. Not paranoia. Real. This wasn't about Jack's business, or temporary help, or family. It was about control. Ownership. Taking what was mine and wrapping it up in sweet words and fake gratitude, until I gave it to them willingly. And I almost did. I backed away from the hallway like it was on fire. I didn't confront them. Not yet. I needed a minute, a day. I needed the part of me that still believed in them to fully die first. So I left. Quietly. And I sat in my car, staring at the dashboard. They were going to make me sign. Not ask, not discuss, just present it, like it was a normal step. And I would have done it, for Linda, for the woman I thought was family, because she'd raised me to be the girl who never says no. That night, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I played their words over and over. She'll skim, not read. We're out of her shadow for good. I wasn't their daughter. I wasn't Jack's sister. I was a resource, a stepping stone. The house wasn't just bricks and paint. It was my father's legacy. It was my only real anchor. And they were going to take it from me, with my own signature. The next morning, I made breakfast. I set the table. I waited. Linda came down first, her usual warm smile, the good morning sweetheart kind of smile. I smiled back, sat her down. Jack joined a minute later, still groggy. You made pancakes, he asked. I thought we should talk, I said. They froze, and for the first time I didn't flinch. I know about the papers, I said. I heard everything. Linda blinked. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Jack muttered something like, shit, under his breath. I laid the knife I was holding on the table, calmly. You were going to steal the house. You were going to forge my signature if I didn't sign. Linda's expression shifted, quickly, from surprise to sadness. The performance was kicking in. Sweetheart, it's not what you think. I was just scared. I didn't know how to ask. You've been so stressed and... Stop. She stopped. You're leaving. Today. Jack scoffed. You can't just kick us out. We live here too. I turned to him. You don't. The house is under my name, legally, and if you so much as breathe near another document, I'll go straight to the police. Linda tried again. Please, don't do this. We're family. You knew I'd say that. That's why you thought you'd win. She said nothing. Not a word. Just sat there, defeated. I watched them pack their things. No yelling, no apologies, just silence. Linda looked back once, standing at the door, her expression unreadable. I didn't move. When the door shut, I stood there for a while. I should have felt free. Instead, I felt like a girl standing in the ruins of something she never really had. A mother, a brother, a home. I had roles, I had expectations, but never a family. She didn't raise me to love her, she raised me to give. I know what some of you are thinking. That I should have made a scene, taken them down, sued them, shamed them. That I let them off too easy. Some of you might even think I was pathetic, spineless for not fighting harder, not making them pay. But here's what you don't understand. I wasn't quiet because I was weak. I was quiet because I finally saw them for what they were, and suddenly they just weren't worth the noise. I've spent years being the girl who never said no, the good daughter, the fixer, the provider, the peacekeeper. But the day I heard what they said behind my back, something in me shut off. Not in anger, in clarity. They didn't deserve my rage. They didn't deserve anything from me. Not even the satisfaction of knowing they broke me. So no, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't burn the house down. I just took it back, and sometimes the most violent thing you can do is walk away without looking back.